Welcome back. Rare Coin Insider. The story of the 1980 United States 1-cent coin begins at a fascinating time in American history. When inflation was rising, metal prices were changing rapidly, and the humble penny was becoming more important than most people realized. At first glance, the 1980 1-cent coin may look like an ordinary piece of pocket change that millions of people ignored every day. But hidden inside this tiny copper-colored coin is a history connected to American economics, collectors, rare minting varieties, and in some extraordinary situations, values so high that certain examples have shocked the entire coin-collecting world. Many people casually pass over pennies without a second thought, yet coin experts and treasure hunters spend years searching through jars, piggy banks, estate collections, and old coin rolls hoping to discover one rare version worth a fortune. The 1980 1-cent coin is one of those coins that continues to attract collectors because while most examples are common, a few special varieties and high-grade specimens can be worth far more than their face value, and rumors surrounding ultra-rare versions have created excitement among collectors everywhere. The United States 1-cent coin, commonly known as the penny, carries one of the most recognizable designs in American history. By 1980, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for more than 70 years. The coin first appeared in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, making it the first regular United States coin to feature a real historical figure instead of symbolic imagery. Before Lincoln appeared on the cent, American coins typically displayed representations of liberty or national symbols. The arrival of Lincoln on the penny changed American coinage forever and opened the door for future presidents and historical figures to appear on United States currency. The front side of the 1980 penny, known as the obverse, features the famous profile portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln faces toward the right side of the coin with remarkable simplicity and dignity. Above his head appears the national motto, "In God We Trust," while the word, "Liberty," is placed to the left. On the right side appears the year, 1980, and beneath the date on some coins is a small mint mark indicating where the coin was produced. Coins minted in Philadelphia during that period generally carried no mint mark, while coins produced in Denver displayed a small D, and coins struck in San Francisco for proof sets showed an S. These tiny letters may look insignificant, but to collectors, they can completely change the rarity and value of a coin. The reverse side of the 1981 cent coin contains the iconic Lincoln Memorial design created by Frank Gasparo. This design was introduced in 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The Lincoln Memorial appears in the center with incredible detail considering the tiny size of the coin. If you look carefully under magnification, you can even see a miniature image of Lincoln seated inside the memorial. Above the memorial are the words, "United States of America," while the motto, "E pluribus unum," arches across the top. At the bottom appears the denomination, 1 cent. For decades, this design became one of the most recognized coin reverses in the world, and millions of Americans carried these coins every single day without realizing the artistry hidden in such a small object. The weight of the 1981 cent coin is another important detail collectors pay close attention to. The standard weight is approximately 3.11 grams, because these coins were made primarily of copper. Specifically, the composition consisted of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. This composition gives the coin its rich brown or reddish appearance and distinguishes it from later pennies produced after 1982, when the United States Mint shifted to a mostly zinc composition with only a thin copper coating. Many collectors actually prefer pre-1982 copper pennies because they contain more intrinsic metal value and feel heavier and more solid in the hand. Some people even store large quantities of old copper pennies, believing the metal itself may become more valuable in the future. The diameter of the coin measures 19.05 millimeters, and the edge is plain without reeds or grooves. Although these specifications may sound technical, they are extremely important in coin authentication because counterfeit or altered coins sometimes have incorrect measurements or weights. Serious collectors often use digital scales and precision calipers to examine coins carefully, especially when searching for rare mint errors or valuable varieties. During 1980, the United States Mint produced an enormous number of pennies. The Philadelphia Mint alone struck billions of coins, while the Denver Mint also produced massive quantities. Because so many were made, most ordinary circulated 1980 pennies remain very common today. In worn condition, many are worth only 1 cent. However, the true excitement begins when collectors search for exceptional examples with unusual errors, rare conditions, or proof quality appearances. In coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin preserved perfectly for decades without scratches, discoloration, or where can become dramatically more valuable than an average example found in circulation. Collectors use a grading scale ranging from poor 1 all the way to mint state 70. A heavily worn penny may barely show Lincoln's details, while a mint state coin can appear almost flawless under magnification. The difference in price between these grades can be astonishing. A common 1980 penny in circulation might be worth only a few cents, but a perfectly preserved mint state example with strong red luster could sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the grade and rarity. Coin grading companies such as Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company authenticate and encapsulate coins in protective holders, allowing buyers and sellers to trust the assigned grades. One of the biggest factors affecting the value of the 1980 penny is color designation. Copper coins change color over time as they react with air, moisture, oils, and environmental conditions. Collectors classify these coins into 3 main categories: brown, red-brown, and red. Brown coins have lost most of their original mint luster and appear dark chocolate or dull brown. Red-brown coins still retain some original fiery copper color mixed with brown toning. Fully red coins preserve nearly all their original bright orange-red appearance from the mint. Red examples are especially desirable because copper naturally darkens with age, making fully red older pennies difficult to preserve. A high-grade 1980 penny with blazing original red surfaces can command impressive prices among collectors competing for the finest known specimens. Another fascinating aspect of the 1981 cent coin involves mint errors and varieties. Errors occur when something goes wrong during the minting process, creating unusual coins that differ from normal examples. These mistakes can include off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, die cracks, repunched mint marks, broad strikes, and many other anomalies. Error coins are highly collectible because each one tells a story about the minting process and how machinery sometimes malfunctioned during mass production. Since billions of coins were struck every year, occasional mistakes were inevitable. One famous category collectors search for is the double die variety. A double die occurs when the coin die receives multiple impressions at slightly different angles during its creation, resulting in doubled letters or numbers on the finished coin. Some double die pennies have become legendary among collectors, selling for enormous amounts of money. Although the 1980 penny does not have a double die as famous as the legendary 1955 double die cent, certain 1980 doubled varieties still attract strong collector interest and can be worth significant premiums depending on visibility and rarity. The mint mark itself also plays an important role in identifying different versions of the coin. The Philadelphia coins without mint marks are extremely common, but collectors still seek pristine high-grade examples. The 1980 penny from Denver is also widely available, yet exceptional specimens with flawless surfaces are difficult to find because pennies were often stored carelessly in bags and rolls, where contact marks occurred easily. The 1980s proof penny is a completely different category. Proof coins were specially made for collectors using polished dies and specially prepared planchets. These coins feature mirror-like backgrounds and frosted raised designs, giving them an extraordinary appearance. Proof coins were never intended for circulation and were sold directly to collectors in special sets. Proof pennies from San Francisco are admired for their sharp details and stunning eye appeal. However, even proof coins can vary greatly in quality. Some develop spots, haze, or discoloration over time, while others remain perfectly preserved for decades. Deep cameo-proof examples with dramatic contrast between frosted designs and mirrored fields are especially valuable. Collectors willing to pay premium prices often compete fiercely for top-graded proof coins certified as nearly flawless. The claim that a 1981 coin could be worth $118 million is something that immediately captures attention and sparks curiosity across the internet. Stories about coins worth life-changing fortunes spread rapidly online, often mixing facts with exaggerations, misunderstandings, and collector fantasies. While no verified public sale of a 1980 penny has ever reached anything close to $118 million, the fascination surrounding such claims reflects the incredible world of numismatics, where a tiny piece of metal can sometimes sell for astonishing amounts due to rarity, historical importance, or unique minting errors. Some people confuse estimated collector hype, insurance valuations, or speculative internet rumors with actual auction records. Nevertheless, the possibility that an ordinary-looking penny might secretly be worth a fortune keeps millions of treasure hunters checking their change every single day. For many collectors, the excitement is not only about money, but also about the thrill of discovery. Imagine finding an old jar of pennies in your attic, sorting through them late at night under a lamp, and suddenly spotting an unusual coin with strange doubling, a rare mint error, or perfect untouched luster. That possibility transforms ordinary coins into hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. Coin roll hunters regularly visit banks searching through thousands of pennies hoping to uncover rare varieties or valuable copper cents. Some collectors spend years studying tiny details under microscopes, learning to recognize rare die markers invisible to most people. And every once in a while, someone truly does discover a valuable coin in circulation that others overlook completely. The late 1970s and early 1980s were also an important transition period for American coinage, because rising copper prices created serious concerns for the United States Mint. The intrinsic metal value of copper coins was approaching or even exceeding their face value, forcing officials to explore alternative compositions. This eventually led to the major change in 1982, when the penny shifted from mostly copper to mostly zinc. Because the 1980 penny was produced shortly before this historic transition, many collectors consider it part of the final era of traditional heavy copper Lincoln cents. That connection adds another layer of historical interest to the coin and explains why so many collectors enjoy preserving pre-1982 pennies. As the 1980 penny continued circulating through stores, gas stations, vending machines, restaurants, and banks across America, very few people imagined that decades later collectors would examine these coins under powerful magnifying lamps searching for tiny details capable of changing their value dramatically. During the early 1980s, pennies were still an essential part of everyday commerce. Children carried them to candy stores, adults tossed them into jars after shopping trips, and cash registers overflowed with copper-colored cents every single day. Yet hidden among billions of ordinary coins were a few examples with characteristics so unusual that they would later become prized collectibles within the numismatic community. One of the most important concepts in coin collecting is rarity, but rarity does not always mean a coin had a low mintage. Sometimes a coin becomes rare because very few survived in high condition. The 1981 cent coin is a perfect example of this idea. Although billions were produced, most entered circulation immediately and suffered damage from constant use. Pennies are among the hardest coins to preserve because they are made of soft copper alloy that scratches and tones easily. They bump against other coins, fall onto concrete floors, get exposed to moisture, and spend years in circulation before people finally set them aside. Because of this, truly flawless 1980 pennies are surprisingly scarce. Collectors pay extraordinary attention to surface quality. A coin with sharp details but covered in scratches may lose much of its value, while another coin with brilliant luster and clean surfaces can command premium prices. Original mint luster refers to the glowing shine created when a coin is first struck. Under proper lighting, uncirculated copper pennies display a cartwheel effect where bands of light rotate across the surface as the coin moves. This beautiful appearance is one of the reasons collectors become passionate about copper coins. A fully red 1980 penny with strong luster can look almost like a tiny glowing piece of fire. The Philadelphia Mint produced more than 7 billion pennies in 1980, making it one of the highest mintage years in American history. Because these coins lacked a mint mark, many people overlooked them. However, professional grading has changed the market dramatically. High-grade examples certified as Mint State 67 red or better are extremely difficult to locate. Even small imperfections can prevent a coin from receiving elite grades. Coins graded at the very top of the population reports sometimes sell for thousands because advanced collectors compete aggressively for the finest known examples. In modern coin collecting, condition rarity can be just as important as actual rarity. The Denver Mint also produced billions of pennies during 1980, identifiable by the small D mint mark beneath the date. Denver coins are collected separately from Philadelphia coins, meaning collectors often seek one example from each mint. Although both are common in circulation, subtle differences in strike quality, luster, and preservation create different collector preferences. Some Denver pennies display stronger details while others suffer from weak strikes due to die wear or high-speed production. Finding a sharply struck Denver cent with perfect red surfaces is much harder than most people realize. Meanwhile, the San Francisco Mint focused primarily on proof coinage. Proof coins are manufactured using a completely different process from normal circulation coins. Specially polished dies strike specially prepared blanks multiple times under higher pressure, producing extraordinary detail and mirror-like fields. When you hold a proof penny under light, the reflective surfaces almost resemble glass. Frosted designs contrast beautifully against mirrored backgrounds, creating what collectors call a cameo appearance. The finest examples with dramatic contrast are classified as deep cameo or ultra cameo depending on the grading service. The 1980s proof penny became part of annual proof sets sold directly to collectors. Many families purchased these sets and stored them away for decades, which is why proof pennies from 1980 remain relatively available today. However, pristine examples free from spots or haze are still desirable. Copper-proof coins are extremely sensitive to environmental conditions. Even slight humidity changes can cause discoloration, carbon spots, or toning. A perfectly preserved proof coin stored properly for decades can remain stunningly beautiful and attract strong collector demand. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1980 penny involves error coins. Mint errors are fascinating because they represent moments when the minting machinery malfunctioned or human mistakes occurred during production. These errors transform ordinary coins into one-of-a-kind collectibles. Some of the most famous error categories include off-center strikes, where the design appears shifted to one side, leaving part of the blank planchet visible. Depending on how dramatic the off-center strike is, and whether the date remains visible, these coins can be worth substantial amounts. Another dramatic error is the broad strike. This happens when the retaining collar fails during striking, causing the coin to spread outward without its normal raised rim. Broad-struck pennies often appear wider and flatter than normal coins. Collectors love these unusual pieces because they provide a visual demonstration of the minting process gone wrong. Similarly, clipped planchet errors occur when the metal blank is improperly cut, leaving part of the coin missing. Some clips are small, while others remove large sections of the coin, making them instantly recognizable. Die cracks and cut errors are also popular among collectors. Over time, coin dies experience enormous stress from striking millions of coins under tremendous pressure. Eventually, cracks can form in the dies, producing raised lines on coins. If a piece of the die breaks away entirely, it creates a cut error where blobs of raised metal appear along the rim. These imperfections reveal the physical strain involved in mass coin production and remind collectors that minting billions of coins is an intense industrial process. Among all error types, doubled dies remain some of the most desirable. On certain 1980 pennies, collectors have identified minor doubled die varieties, where letters or numbers display noticeable doubling under magnification. Although most are subtle compared to legendary doubled dies from other years, they still attract interest because collectors enjoy hunting for hidden varieties. Specialized books and online databases document tiny die markers, helping collectors identify authentic doubled die examples from ordinary machine doubling or damage. Another fascinating category is repunched mint marks. During earlier periods of American coinage, mint marks were punched into dies by hand. Occasionally, the punch would strike more than once at slightly different angles, creating visible overlapping mint marks. By 1980, the minting process had evolved considerably, making dramatic repunched mint marks less common, but minor varieties still exist and remain collectible. These tiny details may seem insignificant to ordinary people, yet within numismatics, they can completely transform a coin's desirability. The copper composition of the 1980 penny has also made it popular among people interested in bullion and metal value. Since these coins contain mostly copper, many individuals began saving pre-1982 pennies once copper prices increased. Some enthusiasts sort massive quantities of pennies, separating copper cents from modern zinc cents by weight and sound. Copper pennies produce a distinct ringing tone when dropped on a hard surface, while zinc pennies sound duller. Although melting cents for metal value remains restricted under federal regulations, many people still accumulate copper pennies believing their intrinsic value may rise significantly in the future. Another reason the 1980 penny fascinates collectors is because it belongs to the long-running Lincoln Memorial series. Collectors often attempt to complete entire date and mint collections spanning decades. Building a complete Lincoln cent set requires patience, knowledge, and dedication. Some rare dates, like the 1909 SVDB, 1914D, and 1955 double die are extremely expensive, but common dates, like the 1980 penny, help fill important spaces in albums. Even though it is considered a modern coin, the 1980 cent still plays a meaningful role within the broader history of American coin collecting. The design itself carries deep symbolism connected to Abraham Lincoln and American unity. Lincoln remains one of the most admired presidents in United States history because of his leadership during the Civil War and his role in ending slavery. Featuring Lincoln on the cent serves as a daily reminder of those historical struggles and achievements. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse adds even more symbolism because the monument represents remembrance, sacrifice, and national identity. For generations of Americans, the Lincoln cent became more than currency. It became a small piece of national heritage carried in pockets and purses everywhere. Collectors often discuss the difference between business strike coins and proof coins. Business strikes are coins made for circulation using high-speed production methods. They prioritize efficiency and durability rather than perfection. Proof coins, on the other hand, are carefully manufactured for collectors. This difference becomes obvious under magnification. Proof coins show sharper details, smoother fields, and more reflective surfaces. Because of their beauty, proof pennies from 1980 remain popular among beginning and advanced collectors alike. Over the years, auction records for exceptional 1980 pennies have surprised many people. While ordinary circulated examples remain worth very little, top-graded red specimens can sell for astonishing amounts compared to face value. Coins certified at extremely high grades such as MS67 Plus Red or better are especially valuable because so few survive in such pristine condition. Registry set collectors compete intensely for top population coins, sometimes driving prices much higher than casual collectors expect. Registry collecting involves assembling the highest graded sets possible according to professional grading company rankings. In this competitive environment, even common date pennies can become valuable if they represent the finest known examples. The internet has dramatically increased public interest in valuable coins. Videos, articles, and social media posts frequently claim that certain pennies might be worth millions. These stories spread quickly because people love the idea of hidden treasure. The claim about a 1980 penny worth $118 million likely comes from exaggerated online rumors or misunderstandings rather than verified sales records. Still, these sensational stories encourage people to examine old coins more carefully, and sometimes that curiosity leads to genuine discoveries. Throughout history, ordinary individuals have indeed found rare coins in circulation worth thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some collectors specialize specifically in error coins because every error tells a unique story. Imagine a coin blank entering the minting press incorrectly aligned, or a damaged die striking coins until the flaw becomes visible. Each mistake captures a brief moment inside the mint where machinery, metal, and pressure interacted imperfectly. Unlike ordinary coins produced identically by the millions, error coins possess individuality. That uniqueness makes them highly appealing to collectors seeking something different from standard issues. Storage methods are another major factor affecting 1980 penny values today. Copper reacts quickly with environmental contamination, fingerprints, moisture, and improper holders. Experienced collectors use acid-free coin flips, airtight capsules, or professionally graded slabs to preserve coins safely. Even touching a coin directly with bare fingers can leave oils that eventually create spots or discoloration. This is why advanced collectors often handle coins only by the edges while wearing gloves. Preservation becomes especially important for red copper coins, because maintaining original color significantly influences value. Toning is another subject that fascinates collectors. Over time, copper coins can develop beautiful shades of blue, purple, orange, or deep chocolate brown depending on storage conditions. Some toned coins become highly desirable because of their artistic appearance. Natural rainbow toning on copper coins is especially admired when vibrant colors appear evenly across the surfaces. However, collectors must be careful because artificial toning also exists. Unscrupulous individuals sometimes alter coins chemically to imitate attractive toning, making authentication and experience extremely important within the hobby. The world of coin collecting surrounding the 1980 penny combines history, economics, art, metallurgy, and treasure hunting into a single fascinating pursuit. What appears at first to be a tiny ordinary coin can actually open the door to an enormous world filled with auctions, grading battles, rare varieties, minting mysteries, and stories of unexpected fortune. And for many collectors, the greatest excitement comes from knowing that somewhere out there, hidden in an old collection or forgotten coin jar, another remarkable 1980 penny may still be waiting to be discovered. As years passed and more collectors entered the world of numismatics, the 1981 cent coin slowly transformed from ordinary circulating money into a fascinating collectible connected to nostalgia, history, and the endless possibility of hidden wealth. People who grew up during the 1980s remember these pennies everywhere. They rattled inside soda machines, filled arcade counters, disappeared beneath couch cushions, and piled up in kitchen drawers across America. Yet time changes the meaning of objects. What once seemed common gradually becomes historical, and collectors begin preserving pieces of the past before they vanish forever. One reason the 1980 penny continues attracting attention is because modern generations rarely think about how coins are actually made. Every single penny begins as a blank metal disc called a planchet. These planchets move through massive industrial machines where dies strike them under tremendous pressure, imprinting the designs onto the metal surface. During 1980, the United States Mint was operating at incredible speed to satisfy national demand for coinage. Billions of cents were needed for daily commerce, meaning the minting presses worked continuously. Under those intense conditions, mistakes occasionally happened, and those mistakes later became treasures for collectors. Some of the most valuable 1980 penny discoveries involve transitional curiosities and unusual planchet errors. Since the Mint was studying future composition changes around that period, collectors have always remained curious about experimental strikes or wrong metal errors. Imagine finding a penny struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, or discovering a coin with unusual weight and color unlike ordinary examples. Such coins can become sensational within the collecting community because they represent rare moments when the minting process crossed into the unexpected. Collectors also love searching through original bank rolls of pennies from 1980. A bank roll is simply a paper-wrapped group of coins stored together for decades. When unopened rolls from 1980 are discovered, excitement spreads because the coins inside may remain untouched since the day they left the mint. Opening an original roll is like opening a time capsule. Sometimes, the coins still display blazing red luster exactly as they did over 40 years ago. Roll searching has become a major hobby itself, with enthusiasts spending hours examining coins one by one under bright lights and magnification. There is also a psychological element behind coin collecting that makes the hobby addictive. Every penny carries uncertainty. Most may be ordinary, but one unusual detail can completely change everything. That possibility creates anticipation every time a collector examines a coin. People dream about finding a rare double die, a dramatic off-center strike, or a flawless mid-state example overlooked by everyone else. Stories of incredible discoveries fuel that excitement. Over the years, collectors have genuinely found valuable coins in pocket change, flea markets, estate sales, and even cash register drawers. The 1980 penny is especially interesting because it belongs to the final generation of traditional copper Lincoln cents before the major composition change in 1982. After copper prices increased dramatically, the government faced a serious problem. Producing pennies became too expensive because the metal itself approached the coin's face value. To solve this issue, the Mint introduced a new zinc core composition coated with copper. This change created an important dividing line in Lincoln cent history. Pre-1982 copper pennies suddenly represented the end of an era stretching back generations. Many collectors today separate their copper pennies from modern zinc cents. Some use digital scales because copper cents weigh approximately 3.11 grams, while zinc cents weigh around 2.5 grams. Others use the sound test, listening carefully as coins drop onto hard surfaces. Copper cents produce a sharper metallic ring compared to the duller sound of zinc coins. This practice turned ordinary coin sorting into a form of treasure hunting, with people storing jars and boxes full of older copper pennies for both collector interest and metal value. The internet age pushed interest in valuable pennies to another level entirely. Videos claiming rare pennies are worth fortunes began attracting millions of viewers. Headlines promising that a single cent could be worth thousands, or even millions spread rapidly across social media platforms. The 1980 penny became part of this phenomenon because people love the fantasy that an everyday object might secretly hold life-changing value. While exaggerated claims often circulate online, they still inspire curiosity and encourage new generations to learn about coins. In reality, the value of a 1980 penny depends on several critical factors. The first is condition. A heavily worn brown coin found in circulation may only be worth 1 cent. A cleaner uncirculated example with red color might sell for a small premium. But once a coin reaches elite grade certified by professional grading companies, prices can rise dramatically. Coins graded mint state 67 red or higher are genuinely scarce because preserving copper coins perfectly for decades is extremely difficult. Tiny scratches, spots, or discoloration can lower grades significantly. The second factor is rarity of variety or error. A normal 1980 penny may be common, but a rare mint error transforms the equation entirely. Off-center strikes, wrong planchet errors, broad strikes, clipped planchets, double dies, and die breaks all attract collector demand. Some error coins are so visually dramatic that they become centerpiece items within collections. Collectors are willing to pay strong prices because such coins are unique reminders that even highly controlled minting systems can produce unexpected results. The third factor is demand. Coin collecting markets shift over time depending on collector interest. Lincoln cents remain one of the most widely collected series in the world because they are affordable, historical, and accessible to beginners. Almost everyone has handled pennies during their lifetime, creating emotional attachment and nostalgia. This broad popularity ensures continued demand for exceptional examples and rare varieties. One fascinating aspect of the 1980 penny market involves registry competitions. Professional grading companies maintain online registries where collectors display their certified coin sets. Participants compete to assemble the highest quality collections possible according to grading standards. Because top population coins are scarce, wealthy collectors sometimes pay enormous premiums for even common dates if those coins represent the finest known examples. This competitive environment explains why seemingly ordinary pennies can occasionally sell for shocking amounts at auction. Another important detail collectors examine is strike quality. Not all pennies from 1980 were struck equally. Some coins show weak details due to worn dies or insufficient striking pressure, while others display sharp, crisp features throughout Lincoln's portrait and the memorial design. Strongly struck coins with full detail are more desirable because they represent superior mint production quality. Under magnification, experienced collectors inspect tiny elements such as Lincoln's hair, coat lines, lettering sharpness, and memorial columns. The coin's color designation also remains extremely important. Fully red copper coins command the strongest premiums because original mint color fades naturally over time. A blazing red 1980 penny stored carefully for decades can appear almost unreal in brightness. These coins are highly admired by collectors because maintaining such freshness is difficult. Red-brown coins remain attractive as well, while brown examples are generally more common and less expensive unless paired with rare varieties or exceptional grades. Some collectors become deeply emotional about Lincoln cents because they connect generations together. Grandparents pass collections to children, who later share them with future generations. A simple penny collected decades ago can become a family heirloom carrying stories, memories, and historical connection. Many collectors remember sitting beside relatives sorting coins across kitchen tables while learning dates, mint marks, and history. That emotional connection keeps the hobby alive even in a digital world dominated by electronic payments. The rumor surrounding the $118 million value adds mystery and intrigue to the 1980 penny story. Although no confirmed sales support such an enormous figure, the very existence of these rumors demonstrates how powerful the idea of hidden treasure remains in human imagination. Throughout history, people have dreamed about discovering extraordinary wealth in ordinary places. Coins perfectly embody that dream because they circulate unnoticed among millions of people every day. Somewhere in the world, a rare coin may indeed be hiding inside a forgotten collection, unnoticed for decades. There have been real examples of coins selling for astonishing sums. Certain ultra-rare American coins have reached millions at auction due to rarity, historical importance, and collector demand. Hearing about those sales encourages people to search their own collections more carefully. Even if a 1980 penny never reaches mythical valuations, exceptional specimens can still command impressive prices far beyond face value. And for many collectors, the excitement of the hunt matters even more than the financial reward. Coin collecting also teaches patience and observation. The smallest details matter. A tiny mint mark, a faint doubling effect, or a subtle weight difference can completely change a coin's identity. Collectors develop sharp attention to detail and deep historical knowledge through years of study. What begins as casual curiosity often becomes lifelong passion. Some people start by checking pocket change and eventually build advanced collections worth thousands of dollars. As the world moves increasingly toward digital transactions, physical coins may become even more nostalgic and collectible in the future. Younger generations already use electronic payments more often than cash, meaning coins, like the 1980 penny, represent a fading era of daily life. This cultural shift may strengthen long-term collector interest because physical coins carry tangible history in ways digital currency never can. Every scratch, tone mark, and worn edge reflects real journeys through countless human hands over decades. And that is what makes the 1981 cent coin so fascinating. It is more than metal. It is history, economics, art, mystery, and possibility compressed into a tiny copper disc small enough to disappear into a pocket. Most people overlook pennies entirely, yet collectors understand that sometimes the smallest objects tell the biggest stories. Somewhere, perhaps inside an old jar hidden in an attic, buried beneath years of forgotten change, a rare 1980 penny may still be waiting for someone curious enough to notice it. And maybe that is the true magic of coin collecting, the belief that treasure can still exist in ordinary places, quietly waiting for the right eyes to discover it.